Definitely felt faster on bikes like this, but got it done. Let's see how she handles that. This is the Hiknight H2. It is a dual motor e-bike with motors in the front and rear hubs. It has a step-through frame along with a rack, front suspension, fat tires, and a twist throttle. In this video, we're going to test it out in a variety of ways. Let's get started. We are at the e-bike test track and going to do some lap times. I'm starting out on throttle only in assist level 5 in one-wheel drive mode. It was a pretty slow start there from a dead stop, but maybe two-wheel drive will help that. And we will see what the different lap times say. I probably should have lowered the seat a bit for this, but gotta commit to it now that I already started. Got some good speed going now, especially around that berm, but there is one lap. I just wanted to show the different acceleration with two-wheel drive mode. It is slightly better, but not quite as much as I thought. But out of that corner, now that I'm moving, definitely felt more speed. And I can feel that front wheel really pull out of these corners. Not sure how much I should be jumping this bike with such a heavy front end, but I can get a little bit of air at least. It definitely felt faster. Wow, really fast coming to that berm. Now I will try pedaling. I am back to rear wheel drive mode. Took a second there to kick on. Would have been nice to be in a lower gear, but I wanted some speed. Once I get moving, it does feel like it takes a little bit to kick on out of the corners. I didn't get any power for that entire straightaway, it felt like, which is a bit of a surprise. Definitely a few more cranks than I was expecting to get the power going. I am into two-wheel drive mode. Come on, get moving here. There we go. It is nice that it's easy to switch between modes. Just switch on the bars so you can go back and forth, use it when you want, because I'm sure two-wheel drive is going to use a lot more battery. Wow, I didn't get any power that entire section, so struggling with that a little bit, but once it gets going, it's moving pretty good. Now for the real challenge, I'm going to do a lap with no power whatsoever, just to show that it can be ridden if you run out of battery. And if you use two-wheel drive a lot, go for a long ride, you might. So it's good to know that you can get around while pedaling. I am in the lowest gear on the rear derailleur, which should help me out of these corners. And I wasn't getting a whole lot of power on the entire track with the motor going, so maybe it'll be closer than I expect, but that's a good workout there. It's Hannah's turn now. We will see how she handles it. We are going to have her do it on two-wheel drive mode both laps, since I was fastest using throttle only in two-wheel drive. So I figured we would just have her run the full power, see how she does. Looks like it was a little hard to handle out of the corners. You can see it taking off, but that takes some getting used to. She hasn't ran it on two-wheel drive at all and has only ridden the bike for about 30 seconds to 1 minute. Looks like it is on the big side for her, but we were able to get the seat low enough, and it could go even lower for someone shorter. I'm about 6 feet tall. She is 5'4", and we're both able to ride it, although it did feel a little bit on the long side compared to what I expected, so she might be struggling with that slightly as well. You were faster with throttle only as well. How did it feel?
Quicker than I expected. I wasn't expecting it to go so fast into the corners. The pedaling was a little inconsistent for me. The minute I'd pedal, it would like stop, go, and not go the way that I wanted.
Yeah, that'll take some getting used to. Once you're moving, it felt good, but just coming out of the corners was a little tricky to figure out. Before we move on, I'm going to show how easy it is to remove the battery. It comes with 2 keys, so you have a spare. Put that in the frame, click the latch on the battery, and slide it out like so. And it's just as easy to put it back in. Just gotta line it up right, find the sweet spot, and there you go. Time for the hill climb test. Hannah is going to start out using throttle only in rear wheel drive mode only. Bit of a slow start, but she's climbing and might make it. It's slowing down quite a bit. Doesn't quite have it for her. Now she's going to click it into two-wheel drive mode and see if it can make it then. All right, let's see what it's got. I think it will make it no problem, even without a run. Coming back down the hill is a good time to test the brakes. How do they feel? Looked a little weak.
Yeah.
Hopefully they will break in and get stronger, but I noticed that on the track as well. A little bit too soft for my liking.
I had to use all fingers.
She's back to one-wheel drive mode and going to see if she can make the hill with a running start. I think it should. Looks like it was no big deal with a bit of a run. Since I weigh more than her, I know it's not going to make it on throttle only in one-wheel drive, but if I pedal, should still be able to make it to the top. There we go. Now we'll see if momentum will do the trick for me using throttle only, and it barely does. Now for two-wheel drive from a dead stop using throttle only, the true power test, and it makes it even with my weight. My turn to try the brakes with a nose wheelie. Definitely need all my fingers, but there we go. Got it done. Now for the skinny test, can it go straight? Not a problem. And more importantly, can it go backwards? This might be a little tricky pulling out of it, but worked pretty well with that front wheel drive. I'm a little worried about this one, but oh, it survived, I think. A little scary there. Well, it's not a huge drop, but I would say it's a little too big for this bike. That landed pretty harsh. Also, if you get the front wheel in the air on a two-wheel drive bike, you want to make sure you don't land with the throttle on, because if that thing gets spinning and lands, there's a lot of force that can go into the front end. So I coasted off that and tried to keep it slow, steady, and smooth, but it still landed pretty harsh. So that's something to keep in mind. You don't want to go too big on this thing, but it can handle a little bit. On to the rocks. Let's see how bumpy it is. Not terrible, I made it. I don't usually try this direction on bikes like this, but I think the two-wheel drive made it pretty easy, actually. All right, there's one more line to try in the trials area here, and I made it up the first step, bounce over this log, and hopefully up the rocky hill. There we go. Now we are cruising on our lane, and this is where the bike should feel right at home, and hopefully Hannah as well. The suspension and tires should help smooth out the small bumps, and she should be able to cruise as fast as she wants to. This could be a good bike for getting around a farm, but we're going to take it into the woods on some trails now. These trails are pretty mellow, so they should be no problem, but there are some tight corners, including this one. Let's see how she handles that. Little front tire roost. Trying to get used to that power on the front end. Takes some time. This bike might be a bit of a handful on real technical mountain bike trails, but if you're riding stuff like this, that is relatively easy. It should get you around no problem. It should be an enjoyable time in the woods. Here is a more normal hill coming up, and we'll see how well she makes it up. Flies up there, no problem, plenty of speed, and then gets to cruise on down for some fun. It's her turn for a skinny. This one's a little tricky to get onto, but she does it. So must be getting a little more comfortable now. We are heading out of the woods now to the pond to test it out in the sand, and we might be just in time for a nice sunset if the clouds clear a bit.
Felt pretty good. I was in pedal assist 3 just because of the factor of 5 I think would have been a bit much for those trails.
Yeah, you don't need a ton of speed in there, but you need the control. Did you start to figure out the front wheel drive around the corners?
A little bit. It was a little sketch right in the beginning, but I did figure it out.
All right, let's see if you can make it through the sand on the beach. The fat tires should come in handy here and shouldn't be a problem to cruise right on through the soft sand. Let's see if she can make it back up, since it is slightly uphill going this way, but with front wheel drive, dug in, pulled her through with ease. It's my turn for some fun in the sand, but I'm going to turn in it and see if that front tire can shoot some roost. Well, the length of the bike might feel a little long for her. The step-through frame allows her to get on and off easy enough where she can still ride it. Now for the true two-wheel drive test. Can I make it through the cattails and soft ground and weeds? No problem, look at that. Well, I got covered in them, but made it through really easily. And one thing about the two-wheel drive power, it's a little bit slow to take off on this one, but if it's too aggressive, then it becomes pretty hard to ride out of corners, and it can lead to more problems with the bike. So I think I know why they made it slow, and it might be adjustable where you could tune it up a little bit, but now it's time to test it out on the road. All right, let's see how fast this thing goes. I'm going to start out on throttle only in rear wheel drive mode on assist level 5 to see how fast that gets me up to. I'm up to 25 already, so acceleration seems pretty quick, and it is still climbing. There's 29, 30, still continuing to go faster. 31, feels like I might not get a whole lot more than this. There's 32 though, and I doubt it will continue much further than that with the conditions it has right now. There's 33 though, slight downhill helped, so it feels like the motor's still trying to go faster, but my weight and size might be holding it back from going any faster than this. Now I will start pedaling and see if I can get any more speed out of it. I am pushing pretty hard now and reaching 33, almost 34, but not quite. And I'm putting quite a bit of effort out. Now I want to compare what the speed on the bike says with the GPS on my phone, and it looks like it is really close. It is showing the same mile an hour. The phone is not quite as accurate, but it looks to be within about 1 mile an hour, so it is good to know that the bike is not trying to lie to you by saying you are going a whole lot faster than you really are. Now I'm back in the same spot, but I am in two-wheel drive mode, so we'll see if it accelerates any faster or goes any faster wide open. I'm up to 25 already, so it might be slightly quicker, but it's not crazy different on the road anyway. And I am just over 30 now, hitting 32, barely, not quite. Slight downhill coming up should allow me to hit 33, but I don't think it's going to go any faster right here, right now anyway. There's 33. Now I will start pedaling again and see if I can beat my top speed record. There is 34, and it seems slightly easier to get there than it was in rear-wheel drive only, but I don't think I'm going to get any more out of it right now. Now I want to see where the different assist levels take me to speed-wise, and on number 1, I am hitting 7 miles an hour, so I'll bump it up to 2, and that feels like about 13. I am just using throttle only for this. On level 3, it is taking me as far as 18, it feels like, and assist level 4 will take me all the way to around 24 in assist level 4, and assist 5 is what I tested earlier. It feels pretty smooth on the road. The tires are doing a good job of smoothing out the small bumps and cracks, and the front suspension fork helps as well. If you want to find out more about this bike or pick one up for yourself, you can check out the link in the description below. Thanks for watching.